So if you grew up during PokeMania and you collected Pokemon as a kid, you probably think you've seen every single Pikachu card out there. Well, that is until maybe today. This is the 1999 PokeTour Pikachu card. It looks just like the base set Pikachu we are all familiar with, except for that. This card, most people don't even know exists. And here's the wild part. I tried to grade this card with Beckett, and they straight up refused. Rolled it as an inconclusive, and told me that the service was not available, and they were not able to grade this card because of the stamp. So today I'm going to tell you what this card is, where it came from, why it got missed, and why it feels like a tiny lost artifact from PokeMania when it first began. The Pikachu card PokeMania missed. This isn't one of those videos where I'm trying to pretend that I've discovered Atlantis or something. I just genuinely love weird Pokemon history. And in 1999, Pokemon was in a totally different universe. Back then, we didn't have YouTube breakdowns for every single promo release. And we didn't have a million posts cataloging everything as it happened. So if something happened in another country, unless we heard about it from someone we knew, we probably didn't even know what happened. This is the base set Pikachu artwork, but with a gold PokeTour 1999 stamp. It's documented as a promotional variant tied to the PokeTour in 1999 that occurred in Australia. It wasn't in booster packs. It wasn't something that you could pull. It was included in tour packs that were distributed specifically at these events, only held in Australia. And here's a detail that I love about this. It was advertised as being limited at 3,000 at most at each venue that it was stopped at. So that makes the amount of cards that are currently in circulation kind of a big question mark. So we have to look elsewhere to get an idea. PokeTour ran in Australia in 1999, having two separate tours, a red tour and a blue tour. I bet you can't imagine where they got that from. And it ran across through different regions of Australia. This is the kind of thing that was pretty easy to miss unless you lived there. There wasn't exactly any worldwide promos like this going on, and it was a one-time event and one specific place. And for my age group, about 25 to 35, this hits hard because 1999 Pokemon wasn't just a hobby. It was a whole cultural event. Everybody and their mom was invested in Pokemon. So here's how I got it. It was 2020, right at the beginning of the COVID lockdown. A local card shop was trying to drum up some business and was posting some of the rare cards they had in store. And well, everything was shut down. There was no other way to get business at the time. Everything had literally just shut down. And I came across this Pikachu and I saw it and I was like, wait, what is PokeTour? I grew up on Pokemon. This is a base set card art, and I had no idea that this card existed, and I had no idea what PokeTour even was. So naturally, I grabbed it. And what made it even cooler for me is I had this weird moment of realizing I remembered a small Volkswagen Beetle Pikachu that had the tail kind of slapped on the back end of it. And I remember that touring across the United States. I had some vague recollection of that, but PokeTour 1999 was completely lost on me. Little fun fact, I had a remote control car version of that as a kid and I loved it. So for me, this wasn't just a card. It felt like a time capsule that just kind of randomly popped into my life at one of the weirdest possible times that it could have, during one of the weirdest years ever. And now this is the part that threw me. So I sent it to Beckett and they essentially refused to grade it. They said that because of the stamp and because of Beckett's new policy on stamp cards, they are no longer grading them. So being unable to verify the card, that essentially made it to where, despite them having versions of this card that are slabbed in a BGS slab, now all of a sudden they can't. I haven't specifically tried to grade this with PSA or TAG or CGC, but I will keep you guys updated if I do, and I'll drop it in the description here if something changes. And to be clear, I'm not trying to make a claim about every single grading company on Earth here. I'm just telling you what happened to me, because to me it's strange when the card is publicly documented as a real variant that they already have stuff in their stash that's been graded before, and yet they tell me they can't grade it. It was a weird experience for me. I actually have a video on it and a short. I'll link those in the description box below. And again, here is that inconclusive paperwork. And honestly, all of this just made me even more curious about the card, even more than I was initially, because it made me realize how many weird corners of the Pokemon universe since PokeMania that really we haven't even scratched the surface of again. And they're definitely not cleanly documented. So I did a little more digging. I didn't know what to do with the information, so I just started doing what any other millennial my age does, and I went to Google. It does show you just how invisible this card has been in the collector space, and I think there's a couple reasons why. So why don't people talk more about this card if it's so rare? Today, a promo drops and the internet all over the world has it released within 10 minutes. In 1999, that was not the case. If you weren't there, you may have never even heard about it. If it didn't happen regionally, or it didn't happen at least in your country, you never really knew what happened. And that's another reason that this card is so cool to me. It's not super flashy. It's not a trophy flex. It's a base set Pikachu with a cool stamp. It's just a surviving breadcrumb from a Pokemon Mania past that most of us never even knew happened. So here is what I want from you. Do you remember PokeTour? Did this ever occur to you that this was an actual event? Because to me, in my 8-year-old head, I had no idea. If you're in Australia and you remember this event or have any pictures or videos of this event, comment down below, please. I would love to talk with you. If you've seen this stamp before at all, comment down below. Tell me the most obscure Pokemon fact that you remember from your childhood. Because I swear, after digging a little bit into this one little corner of PokeMania history, I swear there's a whole side quest of Pokemon history that we've all missed. So in the meantime, I'm going to keep digging for different official tour materials, pamphlets, ads, anything I can get my hands on. If I find something solid in my research, I'll pin it in the comment section or in the description box. Alright, so that's the PokeTour Pikachu, a weird little lost piece of 1999. And definitely topping the list of my how have I never seen this before Pokemon cards. Much love. Toki out.